welcome back. We're the Real Selection Committee. My name's Mike, this is Greg, and we are 1 week out to the start of college football. Week 0 here, there's 8 games during that week. The biggest game of that week is going to be Kansas State versus Iowa State, which is going to play a little bit into that Big 12 picture right there on who's going to kind of be one of the top tier teams in that conference, I feel.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these two teams are right there. This game might set one of them back a little bit. So we'll just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a rough conference right there to predict because I think they're all kind of in, the same boat here. They're all real close as far as talent.
Well, I think the Big 12 improved greatly. A lot of the teams last year that weren't that great, I think are really good this year. It's a better conference this year than it was last year. It's going to be a fun conference to keep an eye on, but that'll be a game that'll get it started with a bang, huh?
Right. Yeah, and then the week after that's the big one there. That's where there's a lot of good games.
Good matchups.
Yeah, we'll talk further about that probably next week. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the Big 10 conference and we're going to rank every team in a conference. And we're going to talk a little bit about them, dive a little more into the top tier teams, how we feel they're going to perform, maybe their record, and we'll talk about will they be a college playoff team or even who's going to win the Big 10. So let's start talking about how we've had this ranked here. Let's go in. There's 18. Let's start with number 18.
The Big 10 has 18 teams in it. Make that make sense.
Yes, right.
Well, anyway, number 18 is Purdue. What a shocker, huh?
Right. Yeah, so here's the team that's 43 transfers signing in here. They got one returning starter on this team, so there's really not much there.
Well, they're ranked 102 in the country, so that tells you all you need to know about them. They're going to have a long season.
Right. Now let's go with number 17.
Number 17 is Northwestern. I got them ranked number 78 overall. They'd be a little better, but not much.
Right. Yeah, their defense is decent, but the offense needs to get a little more big playmakers on it. So let's go with number 16.
Number 16 is Maryland. They're number 76 overall. I don't see them winning a whole lot. In fact, Northwestern might jump over top of them.
Right.
But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Maryland's starting a new quarterback freshman there, so they'll probably have a lot of growing pains in that team right there. So let's go with number 15.
Okay, my number 15 team, I think, can jump several spots up is Rutgers. Rutgers has 17 starter-level players on their team.
Right.
This team has great experience on it. So let's, when I say starter level, that's an experience level. So, I think Rutgers can make a little bit of noise. I think they're going to finish much higher than that number 15 rank.
Yeah, I agree. The Rutgers could jump a little bit up higher there. They're a decent team. Let's go with number 14.
Number 14, UCLA. The more I look at UCLA, the less I like them. But, the one thing they do have is they did get Nico from Tennessee, so we'll see how he does for them. They're ranked number 61 overall. In the work I've done, people seem to put them there in the middle of the pack nationally, but the experience just isn't there.
Yeah, as far as the odds are, they only have winning 5.5 games projected there. So they're going to have a lot of growing pains, even with Nico being there. Yeah. I look forward to them being, like you said, at number 14. Yeah. Let's go with number 13.
Number 13 is another intriguing team, Michigan State. Michigan State, to me, on paper, looks like they are going to be greatly improved. We'll see what happens. But number 57 overall, I think Michigan State can get up a little higher. They'll finish higher than that, but they're much improved.
Yeah, here's a team that used to be, one of the power teams in this conference. It is weird saying Michigan State is towards the bottom of this conference here. I think they could perform a little bit better, get off to a fast start could help them out as far as the season grows. I agree. Number 13. Let's go with number 12.
Number 12, I have Wisconsin.
Mm.
Another shocker team if you're not paying attention in class. But Wisconsin's number 12 in the Big Ten, number 47 overall. You can never count this team out. You know, they're going to play typical Wisconsin. Every offensive lineman is as big as a redwood tree. You know, they're powerful, but you know, they're number 12. I don't think they're the typical Wisconsin team either. So.
Yeah, well, the thing with this team here is the brutal schedule here. You know, they got Alabama as a non-conference game in there, and then they were playing all the big dogs in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So they control their destiny, but man, that's such a brutal schedule they got to go through. Vegas has them at a 5.5 win total here, so not looking forward to them being very good, but they have a possibility of winning some games and jumping up. But
yeah, between 5 and 7 wins there.
Yeah, so I got them at 12. Let's go with number 11.
Number 11 is Minnesota, another intriguing team. You almost don't even have to look at anything about them. They're that team every year. They look really bad one week, and the next week they come up and beat up on somebody good.
Yeah.
So, decent amount of experience on this team. We'll see what they can do. Number 11, I got them as a middle of the pack type Big Ten team. As you like to put, they're one of those teams. It's a trap game.
Yeah.
Type team.
Yeah, Minnesota's kind of like Jekyll and Hyde team. Good defense. That's what's going to hold them in games.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's go with number 10.
Okay, number 10 would be Washington. I think Washington's creeping their way back up. They're number 34 overall, number 10 in the Big Ten. Their defense looks to be slightly better than their offense, but they're going to be a solid team. I don't think they're back into where they're going to be too much of a competitor for the title, but they could be a spoiler type team.
Yeah. Yeah, Washington's trying to find their footing in this new conference here in the Big Ten. They got a lot of games traveling east here, so we can see how they handle that. It's a different kind of monster here in the Big Ten. You know, it's big guys, fast ground and pound, as opposed to out west where it's throwing the ball all over the place. So Washington's going to struggle again this year. I agree. Let's go with number 9.
Number 9 is USC for many of the same reasons we just said. And the one thing I didn't mention in Washington, but Washington and USC are similar in this, they have to travel east 5 times.
Yeah.
You know, now the other Big Ten teams, the normal Big Ten teams only have to travel out there once or twice.
Yeah.
They have to come east 4 or 5 times a year, which can play havoc with them. I think USC, you know, here again, they're going to be a middle of the pack team. I think they'll be a little better than last year, but I still don't see them quite where they need to be, quite where we want them to be.
Right. Yeah, this is a powerhouse team from the Pac-12 coming in here, kind of struggled last year. Great head coach, Lincoln Riley. Miller Moss transferred out of there. Now they got a new quarterback, so they can see how they rebound from last year with the new quarterback here. Kind of think they're going to be better. Vegas has them at like a 7.5 win total. So if they win a game or two, now you're talking they're in the mix here.
Yeah,
so
that's a big if.
But this is a big if, and USC is a decent team, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, they're not garbage by any stretch. Number 8 is Iowa. Another team that just, you know, when you go to Iowa, things seem to happen there. You know, and a lot of good teams go into Iowa and come out with an L. So there's something strange going on in that stadium. But Iowa's a solid team. Number 31 overall, number 8 in the Big Ten. I don't think they have a shot at competing for the championship of the Big Ten. But they're going to be that spoiler. Be careful when you go to Iowa.
Here's the thing I'm going to mention. I think they bore you to death. I think that's why they're a scrappy team to play here.
Yeah.
You know, when you think Iowa, it's all this great defense. But now the offense is starting to score more points, and they actually do have a better offense.
Yes, they
Keep
do.
out and watch out for this team here with the offense being better.
Yeah.
Another team that's projected 7.5 wins here. But yeah, they're not there yet again. Let's go with number 7.
Number 7's an intriguing team. That's Nebraska. A lot of people like this team. We kind of like this team as well. The experience on the defense, they're going to have to catch up. But Nebraska could spring some upsets and find themselves up into the top 4 or 5. Probably not going to happen, but they look like they're on the rise again.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with Nebraska. They got a really good quarterback, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Young quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think they are a sleeper team here out of this division. With Dylan Raiola as their quarterback, looks like he's pretty darn good, and he's probably ready for the next level here. But they have a good team there in Nebraska. They took Ohio State to the edge right there last year, and this team, I think, is on the verge of being in the mix of one of these top tier teams here. They got the right thing going on. They're recruiting better. They're starting to get recruits to Nebraska, and maybe they can get back to where they were back in the 90s and stuff. So
we'll see.
But good team, but we got them at 7.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Number 6, Indiana. They're a little bit down from last year, but they're not going to fall very far, folks. They're number 20 overall in the nation. Their defense grades really well in the experience department, so their defense is going to be lights out. We have the grades that I give these teams. Their offense graded a 60, which for those of you who haven't seen in the past, I'll explain it again. A 5 per player gives you that's a starter level player, guy that started last season or in the last couple of seasons. Started one season in there. They're a 60. That's pretty darn good. The defense is really good. The best grade for offense or defense I've given out, 69.5. They got 3 players on their defense that had gained some national or All-American recognition, whether it be unanimous or 1 or 2 outlets. So Indiana, I don't think they're going to get up in there and play for the championship, but they can play a huge role.
I agree with you. They got a better, tougher schedule, I should say, this year, so they're going to have to fight through it. They got 33 newcomers on this team. 14 freshmen, 19 transfers. Kurt Signetti is a good head coach.
Absolutely.
This team, I think, is not going to be, well, should I say, are going to struggle to be where they were last year with that 11-1 record here. I think they got kind of some tough games on their schedule. They got Oregon on there. They got Penn State. So, there's a couple tough games in there. Illinois is in there. So, another team they got them as an 8.5 win total there. So they're a good team, but I just see them being outside of those top 4.
Right. Well, they're underdogs in 3 of the games we mentioned, and the one tough game they have that they'd be favorites in is at Iowa, which we just spoke about. How Iowa's a crazy place to play.
Right.
I will say this: they have 20 starter level players.
Yeah.
So that helps them immensely.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with Indiana. They're not going to fall far.
Right. All right. Number 5 here.
Number 5 is Michigan. They got a number 5 in the Big Ten and number 15 overall.
Yeah.
This team, I think, has improved greatly over last year's team. If for no other reason, they are so much better in that quarterback room. We all know that Michigan struggled last year in the quarterback room. This year, they don't have that problem. And Bryce Underwood, supposed to be awesome. Number 1 graded recruit overall in 2025. They have him. They got Mikey Keene in their quarterback room, who was a decorated quarterback out of Fresno State, 2 or 3 year starter there. And they still have Davis Warren, who started for them last year, as the guy that'll be carrying the clipboard. So they got experience galore.
Yeah.
And, they have 15 starter level players on their roster there. Schedule rank is number 57 overall. I think their schedule is very weak for a Michigan schedule.
Yes.
Now, they still have to play some second-tier Big Ten teams, and they have to take care of business. They cannot get themselves set on we beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
Because you got to take care of business along the way, or the Ohio State game don't mean anything for you.
Right.
So the recruiting's getting better for this team.
Mm-hmm.
I got them as, let's see, the number 3 recruiting in the Big Ten. They're number 22 in the transfer portal. So this team's starting to put in the work, starting to take that step back of being that team that will be tough every year in the Big Ten. We just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. So Michigan's been in the news lately with that whole scandal there. So that got all settled. Really, kind of a slap on the back of the hand there. Nothing important there as far as that. They may lose their coach, Sharon Moore, like 3 games next year, not this year. But like you said, this team is going to be much more improved because of this quarterback room. It's grading as a B as a starter because it's the unknown, and A minus for depth because they do have the depth there. Bryce Underwood, we think he's going to start. He's that true freshman coming in, number 1 overall ranked recruit coming in here. They got Mikey Keene, as you said. Davis Warren's still there, so they got depth at the quarterback position. Running back position, it's a B grade. They got Justice Haynes there, transfer from Alabama. He's a decent running back.
Absolutely.
Jordan Marshall's still there. Donovan Johnson's still there. So they have a good running game here, which, Michigan always has a good running game here. Receivers, their biggest receiver here is a transfer coming from Indiana, Donovan McCauley. Their receiving room is going to be a little bit better than they were last year because what we know that last year they were ranked 129th. They were terrible on the offense, and that was as far as the passing game went. So, this is the question mark here. Can Bryce Underwood come in and lead this team? Everyone's hyped on this team. They're about an 8.5 win total here. Let's just see how he comes in and starts. But like you said, that schedule is very favorable for this team to get back into the mix as a Michigan powerhouse team here. Defense is going to be solid. I think they're going to be inside of that top 15 as a whole on the defensive side. Michigan's tough on the line. Linebackers and their defensive backs are always good here. They're going to be a problem for some of these games. Like you said, that schedule, they avoided playing Penn State and Oregon. They got them second-tier level teams on there. Can they handle them? Then they got the end game at the end of the year, the game, Ohio State, Michigan. They got that 4 wins in a row. Can they carry that over, and win 5 in a row? Not sure, but I agree. Michigan is the 5th seeded team, which is pretty good ranking considering what they put up last year. They had ended good with 2 big wins, but 7-5 record for that Michigan team.
I see them 10-2 this year.
At worst. Very possible.
At worst.
So what do you think? They're an outside playoff team, a playoff team, Big Ten title contender?
Outside on all of it. Here again. Oklahoma, they play at Oklahoma, I believe. They're at Nebraska. That can be a tricky game. Now, they should win that. That'll be a tricky game. And Ohio State goes to Michigan, and Michigan's been getting the better of this. We talk about the mind game Ohio State has on Penn State. Well, Michigan seems to have the mind game on Ohio State. We'll see if that continues. But they're an outside as it sits now. We get a little further into the season, we'll revisit that. But right now, I do not have them in the playoffs. Do not have them playing for the championship. I do have them back as they're going to be relevant year in and year out.
So here's the thing, how they start this season out with the Oklahoma game and Bryce Underwood. I think this team could be in the mix, but right outside the bubble, if some other team falters ahead of them, they could jump right in there. Like you said, that 10-2, that's a playoff type record there. They could make it in, if in Illinois or Ohio State or Penn State or Oregon, one of those teams falter. Michigan would
They
jump
could
right
jump
in there.
because the Big Ten's going to get 3.
Yeah,
We know this.
we think. Yes,
Illinois
yeah,
has
yeah.
an easy schedule, but Illinois is just now getting back into relevancy. Oregon's got a little bit tougher schedule than both of them, and Ohio State's schedule is pretty tough.
Yes.
So they could jump in if other teams give them the help.
Right.
Just see.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
count them out.
So, all right, let's jump into number 4 here.
Number 4, I have the Illini of Illinois. Number 13 overall, I'm very high on this team. They 20 starter level players. Their offensive line, I think, is the best in the country. Their quarterback is going to be outstanding, as we've said numerous times. The guy is the best player you've never heard of. The unit rankings, their offense is a 62 and their defense is a 62. Outstanding on both. Their recruiting hasn't caught up yet. They're number 46 overall in the recruiting room, which isn't terrible. But, if they keep putting wins together, you might see them start jumping up there into the elite recruiting classes. Number 43 in the transfer portal, so they put a little work in the transfer portal. Not bad there. So we'll just have to wait and see. Their schedule is pretty easy. They do play Duke, and I'm high on Duke.
Yeah.
They play Indiana, and they play Ohio State. That's the meat of their schedule. They play 4 Tier 2 Big Ten teams. What that means is we're talking like USC, Washington type teams, which they should be.
Mm-hmm.
But anything can happen in a college football season.
Right. Yeah. No, we talked about this team. We're kind of high on this team. I agree. 17 returning starters, 9 on the offense, 7 on the defense, plus the kicker. That's equals 17. That's a pretty high number to have. That means we got a lot of returning starters here, and it's all led by Luke Altmaier, who's a returning starter here, who looks to be a great quarterback. Bright future ahead of him. Now, can he take it to the next level? That's why we think he can, and we think he could be this is a playoff team. We got him into the playoffs, and this is a Big Ten title contender team here too. If things break out right, like you said, the schedule has a few bumps in there. Duke, we got Ohio State. Those are the 2 big games there. A couple mid-tiers. Indiana they got on the schedule, plus USC. Can they handle the business that they need to handle? They were a 10-win team last year. Kind of looking at being the same as they were last year record-wise. And let's dive into the running backs. They grade as a B+. So Aiden Lafferty is there. They got some decent running backs. They grade as a B, like I said. B+ as the receiving room here. Hudson Clements the best. Colin Dixon, Hank Betty. I mean, they got some studs on this team here where they can throw the ball and stay in games there. Tight end, their little one, that's their weak spot there. Offensive line is, like we talked about, there's 4 of the 5 returning starters there, so they got depth there. Defensive side is another side that the defense is pretty decent. For Illinois, they'll keep them in games with that powerful offense. This is a tricky team here. We think that they're a playoff team.
I really think they're a huge problem for Ohio State because of when it is in the season. It looks like it's week 7. Ohio State will have played 5 games going into that. It's week 6 actually for the Buckeyes because you don't play in week 0 and you have a bye. So, it is enough time for Sayin and the guys who weren't starters last year to get their feet wet. But Illinois, as you said, 17 returning starters, and they have 20 starter level players, so some of the transfers were starters elsewhere. This team is veteran. They could be the biggest threat to the Buckeyes. And I'm not taking anything away from I'm not taking anything away from Texas, not taking anything away from Penn State or Michigan. Just because of where the game is in the season, Illinois may be the biggest threat.
This is an experienced team, and they got Ohio State at home. So this could be a struggle for Ohio State in this game, and this could be, that hammer that puts them into the guaranteed playoffs and possibly a Big Ten conference game here.
Not as far-fetched as people may think.
And there's a lot of talk that there's people excited about this Illinois' team
Should
this
be.
year. So
with good reason.
all right, number 3.
Number 3 is Oregon, and I feel bad for leaving them out. I don't want to disrespect them. They're an awesome team. They're number 8 overall, number 3 in the Big Ten. Got lots of experience, lots of good players everywhere. I'm just that high on Illinois. It's got nothing to do with what Oregon's done or hasn't done. Here again, their schedule's number 36, so it's not weak. And 16 starter level players, which tells you they're veteran. Top opponents at Penn State, Indiana, at Iowa, several Tier 2 Big Ten teams. So they've got some work cut out for them as well. Here again, like the other Pac-12 teams, they've got to come east 4 or 5 times. And I get the people out there, these teams did it last year. Yeah, they did, but it doesn't make it any less inconvenience. So I'm kind of grading the curve there. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. Here again, that hurt me last year because I didn't think much of them last year, and all they did was go undefeated all year. But Illinois, I think, is a better team. But Oregon's tough. It's going to be a struggle all year long.
Right. Yeah. So what we know about Oregon here is Dan Lanning is the head coach, and he is killing it as far as recruiting.
Yeah.
This guy is bringing in athletes. This team is definitely a tough team to play. They're inexperienced because they got a lot of turnover. They as far as their starters, on offense, they only have 2 as starting and 3 on the defensive side here. But they got a lot of guys that got playing time, like you referred to. This team is a question mark here. Dante Moore.
Yeah.
What is this guy going to do? You sat behind Dylan Gabriel, so he got to see a little bit. We played at UCLA, got some experience, but he sat all last year. How's he going to be coming in? He's a big question mark. He wasn't a super prolific quarterback at UCLA. He was a good quarterback, transferred out. But he's the biggest question. They got great running backs.
Yes.
Makai Hughes, he's the big guy right here. He's their superstar. Transfer from Tulane here.
Yeah.
He looks like they have him up for some honors here in this Big Ten conference.
Well, he was
because he rushed for 1,400 yards last year. So this guy is a beast coming to Oregon. And let's go with their receivers. The receivers are good. They got Evan Stewart here. He's a guy. He was their biggest producer last year.
Yeah.
Then they got a freshman that they're super duper high on. It's DeCorian Moore.
Yep.
Was a big time recruit coming in. He's a true freshman, 5-star recruit. This guy's looking to tear it up. I've seen some highlights of him, and he looks awesome. And so Oregon with the receivers there. Oregon does always have good athletes on this team, and I think they're in the mix. The thing here is, like you talked about, that schedule. They got a couple bumps there. They got Penn State, at Penn State, so they got to travel east.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a tough game there for them. They got Indiana there. That's a tough game. Iowa, you said, is a tough game. And USC here. These are tough road games here, or tough games on their schedule.
Yeah.
So,
and he got the inexperience at quarterback. He did play some at UCLA as well.
Yeah.
But like you said, he wasn't prolific. So,
yeah, I feel that this team here, we almost want to bump Illinois ahead of them. You got them into the playoff. I mean, here's a team that they're projecting as a 10-win team here. So we got a bunch. We're going to have, like we had last year, a bunch of teams at the top of this Big Ten. College playoff team, I kind of have them in. You don't have them in.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. I don't have them in that Big Ten title, but if one of those other teams falter, they could easily get into that championship game. But the inexperience, but they reload. They're like Ohio State here. They got a lot of talented kids coming in. This is the tough team.
Well, I think we both agree to one thing. The SEC or the Big Ten has a chance at getting a 4th team in.
Yes.
If one of the other if the other conference falters, has teams falter, if the Big 12 falters.
There's going to be chaos.
You know, so I have Oregon would certainly get in because I think they're going to be 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be a lot of 10-2 teams
Yeah.
in the Big Ten the way it looks.
Right.
But I'm not sold on Illinois. I just
Yeah.
am.
Yeah. No, that's splitting hairs there, I
Yeah.
guess, to say with Illinois and Oregon the way we feel about
Yeah.
that. All right, let's go to number 2.
Number 2 is the Ohio State Buckeyes. That might shock some people.
It shocks me now.
But, honestly, they're number 5 overall, or number 3 overall, excuse me. Number 2 in the Big Ten. Their schedule ranked tied for 23rd overall. So that tells you it's a pretty solid schedule.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people want to say they don't play tough teams. Check the schedule out, folks. They have some inexperience, but in that inexperience are guys that did play.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say inexperienced. They have guys that weren't necessarily starter level,
Mm-hmm.
but they did see a lot of playing.
Yeah.
So not as bad as some people may think.
Yeah, they had a lot of backups, fill roles from injuries and
Yes.
everything else. So they got a lot of experience, like you said.
And the unit grades, 61.5 on offense, 60.5 on defense. And some extra work that I did actually backs that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go into that yet or today. But this team is much tougher than people think. Top opponents, you got Texas, you're at Illinois, you got Penn State, you're at Michigan. There's several tier 2 level teams in there. I know we play Washington. So it's not Rutgers to me. I mean, people are going to laugh, but Rutgers has a lot of experience on that team. Buckeyes got to take care of business. We can't get concerned with just showing up because we got the little leaves on our helmet and everybody's going to be afraid. No, pay attention. Stick to the game plans. Do what you need to do, fellas. Or if you don't, you could lose 3 games and be out of the mix.
Right.
So I think the Buckeyes. I wanna say they'll win the Big Ten,
Okay.
but that other team ahead of them is pretty tough.
Yeah. So I have this flip-flop from you. I am to be the team, you got to beat the team.
Mm-hmm.
So for that sake, I have Ohio State at 1. You have Penn State. But let's just dive in with Ohio State. As far as I'm concerned, it's another team that you could flip-flop them around. Ohio State, all we know is Julian saying here is probably getting a nod. I think they're going to announce that this week here, that he's probably going to be the starting QB. But this quarterback room has A- in depth. So if he's starts sluggish or anything like that, we know that they have backup quarterbacks, and that's the most important part of the offense is the quarterback position. So if you have depth, that's going to help you out. Lincoln Keenholz is the backup who's been
solid,
battling with him all spring and all fall camp here. We do know that the quarterback position is going to be, they're not going to be as good as Will Howard, but they're going to get the job done. I feel confident that these quarterbacks, Julian Sand's going to be good. I mean, he was a 5-star recruited kid from Alabama. So that's telling you that he's a decent recruited kid here. Running back position, we got James Peoples. He got some playing time last year.
Looked good when he played.
He looked good when he got his little mop-up duty when he got to play because they had 2 studs there. And that's the thing with this Ohio State team is you got to fill in a lot of players that left for the NFL. But I think this reloading here, that they have stars sitting behind them. And these guys, I think, are potential stars. C.J. Donaldson was a big transfer from West Virginia. He ran for almost 800 yards there, 11 TDs. This is a big kid here, 6'2", 230. He's a senior this year here. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. And the kid behind him who's pushing him, he's a highly recruited kid, 4-star kid. Love the dude's name, Bo Jackson. I guess people are just in awe of him. He looks pretty good at practice here. I think he's going to get some playing time. So the running back depth is good, B. Now, let's go to the receivers. I mean, this is without a doubt the best receiving core in the FBS college football here.
Pretty much.
Jeremiah Smith, we don't really need to go in much more further. Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Mylan Graham, Quincy Porter, Bryson Rogers. This team is loaded at the receiving position. Yeah. And here's the other thing. How are you going to cover all those guys? Now they threw in the #1 transfer tight end here, Max Clare.
Yeah.
Jeez. So this team's stacked. Now let's go with the offensive line. I'm kind of high on this offensive line. They had to replace two guys that went to the pros. Yeah. Donovan Jackson and Josh Simmons both went to the pros here. But what they did is they went out and brought in a couple transfer kids. Yeah. So plus the interior guys and the tackle, they got a lot of playing time. Like we mentioned earlier, they had quality playing time due to injuries and stuff like that. I think the offensive line is going to be good.
All good talk coming out of camp, and the one thing that shocked me is the one transfer may not even start.
Yeah.
The kid from Minnesota may not even start.
Yeah.
But
it's a battle.
Solid. I mean, you got a lot of depth. I mean, that looked like maybe a weakness, could be a strength.
So the defensive side, they lost Jim Knowles, went to Penn State, jumped ship, went to Penn State. All they did was bring in Matt Patricia here. Yeah. Who has pro experience at the defense coordinator position. They lost pretty much the whole defensive line here. I'm excited about this defensive line. They do have a bunch of 4-stars and a couple transfers there. Bo Atkinson transferred from North Carolina, looks like a stud. Kenyatta Jackson got a little banged up in camp. He's solid. Edric Houston got banged up in practice here, but he looks like he's going to be all right. Kenyatta Jackson was the guy I want to talk about. I think he's going to be their big-time edge rusher here. I think this kid has a lot potential right here. I'm excited about him. And then, they got a lot of depth on the defensive line here, even though the word on the street is they don't. But I think they're going to be pretty solid this year. Linebackers, Sonny Styles. You've seen what he did in the playoffs. He played out of his mind. He was great. Now we're going to get to the backside, which I think they are one of the top defensive backfields in college football.
Sure.
Without a doubt, Caleb Downs, All-American, amazing. Davison Egbinosa, I want to shout out. Maybe he plays a little better this year. He had a lot of holding penalties called, but I think he's going to have a better year this year.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, what we know is I think Ohio State is a lot better than what people are putting them out there. They think they're going to fall out with losing 14 guys to the pros. I think they're going to be in the mix.
Paid attention.
Yeah, they haven't paid attention.
Ohio State does not have bad teams.
No.
They have some bad games. They don't have bad teams.
Right.
So
I think they reloaded nicely. I think they're going to be in the mix here, definitely into the playoffs. Definitely a 10-2, if not 11-1 record here. I got them in this Big Ten championship because they've missed out on that the last few years.
Yeah.
They're ready to get in there. I think Sayan's going to have a good season, and I think this team's going to be tough to beat.
I think Ohio State can win the Big Ten. I think they can go 10-2, 11-1. But you got to win those games. And they have the tougher schedule of all the top 6 teams in the Big Ten. They have the toughest of the bunch.
Yeah.
So, but they can still do it.
Right.
And we'll just wait and see how it plays out.
Yep. So your #1 is?
Penn State.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. Kent State. No. Penn State. Penn State. #2 nationally, #1 Big Ten. I'm giving this team the respect they deserve this year. A lot of people don't. They're the boring-looking team, and they've not been able to get back up in there where they should be. Been close, just can't quite. Everybody said they had the easy path in the playoffs last year, right? They're loaded.
Yeah.
Look them up.
Yeah.
I got 16 starter-level players. Starting-wise, led by Drew Aller, who has come on both of the last 2 years, has gotten better and better, and looks to me like he could have an All-American type season.
Yeah, right.
So, their schedule is ranked number 56, so not all that challenging, right?
Yeah.
And when we dive a little deeper into their schedule, they do play Oregon. That'll be a heck of a game. They're at Iowa. We know that Iowa when you go to Iowa, strange things happen. They're at Ohio State, which they have the mental block with. They do play Indiana and Nebraska as well. I mean, but they're better than both those teams. They should be able to handle that schedule pretty easy. Oregon and Ohio State are really the tall hurdles. So we'll see how they play it.
Here's the thing. James Franklin, is he going to get over the hump this year? This team is on the verge. They, made it to the Final Four. They're always that consistent good team. Now he's loaded. He's got all this experience returning here. You got Drew Aller. I mean, this guy, All-American hype here. Is he going to take that next level? Is he going to push this team to winning it all here? This is what the expectations are at Penn State here is winning it all, because they do have everyone come back, much like Michigan in 23 and Ohio State. All of them returning players. This team has built this roster to be good here. A at the quarterback position with Drew Aller. A at the running back position with two superstars there. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen here. They're loaded, right? These are all Big Ten guys here. Definitely great at the running back position. Here's the one question mark, right? Receiver. The receiving, if Penn State had them superstar receivers here, wouldn't be a question here.
No.
They got 3 transfer kids coming in here, and it's all going to rely on these 3 kids coming from somewhere else. Trevor Pina coming from Syracuse, Devontae Ross coming from Troy, and we got K'Ron Hudson coming from USC. This is where they put all their money into right here to build this team. They got to get that receiving game going here. If they got that going, man, they're in trouble. They're trouble. I agree with you. This is a national contender right here. This is a team that could win it all very easily. The tight end position, Khalil Dinkins is decent. 15 games he played worth. That's, all in the playoffs and everything too. So he's got experience there. Offensive line is A. They're loaded there. 4 out of the 5 guys are returning offensive linemen, and this offense is ready to go. They're locked and loaded here. I agree. Now the defensive side is solid too. They got studs on the defensive side here. We got them as a B+ on the defensive line. Now they lost Abdul Carter, went to the pros, but all they did is replace. They know how to get the defensive line guys. This guy's wearing number 11, so that's the magic number on Penn State. Dennis Sutton here. This guy looks like to be the next step up here, So the defensive line is great. Linebackers great as an A as well. They got some depth at the linebacking position. Defensive backfield is a B+, A+ at depth. So, this team is built to win.
You have everything you need. And I like James Franklin as a coach as well. A lot of people out there don't. This guy had Vanderbilt competing in the SEC when he was there. Not winning 6 games, competing 9 wins. Unbelievable. He is a really good coach. He just has the same issue that Ryan Day had. You gotta win, He loses the games. He loses to the good teams. It's not like he's getting beat by Toledo. No disrespect to Toledo, but he's not losing those games. He's losing to Ohio State, losing to the best Michigan team. Get off his case. Watch what happens. I've said, I think they win the national title this year, whether they win the Big Ten or not. I kind of want to say the Buckeyes win the Big Ten, but I think Penn State gets it done this year.
Right. It's very interesting. These 2 teams battle every year, and it's such a tight, close game here. We both have them in the Big Ten championship game here, and we both have them making the playoffs here. The scenario plays out where you could play this team 3 times in a year.
We could.
It's tough. Some see it. You think that Ohio State's going to beat them in the regular season here, and I have Penn State beating Ohio State in the regular season. They play, and I I see Ohio State beating them in the Big Ten title, but here again, you know, with that experience level here, and we make it into these playoffs, man, watch out. I'm scared as a Ohio State fan. I'm scared of this Penn State team. I don't want to see them 3 times.
I mean, you don't want to play good teams 3 times.
Right.
It's hard to beat them 3 times because if you beat them twice, the pressure isn't on them.
Right.
They got nothing to lose.
Right.
You know, but I just, you know, I just have a feeling that Penn State gets off the schneid this year.
Yeah.
You know, I've stated I do not think the Buckeyes repeat this year. I think they get close. I think they give the Buckeye fans everything we want to see, but I just think it's maybe not in the cards this year. Next year, who knows?
Right.
But,
right.
And who, you know, that being said, either one of these 2, Penn State or Ohio State, can win a national title.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be an awesome college football season. It's hard to predict that championship game here. I think Ohio State has the right stuff to get there, and Penn State has the right stuff to get there. I mean, this Big Ten could get their 3rd national championship in a row. I think they are built to win.
I think they do.
I'm excited about this college football season. Hey, I had fun. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
You know, if you haven't watched our other videos, go back and watch them. We talked about the other conferences here, get our insight on what we feel and how we feel about these teams here. It's fun.
Yeah.
College football is kicking off here 2 weeks, and we got the big week.
Gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like and subscribe. You know, it's real easy to do. We'll see you next week.
Peace.